What's that?
Oh, mate, that's what happens when you get old, bro.
Yeah, but you've already put a new set in. What are they crumbling after a while?
Well, what have you been doing? Like, you've been travelling up and down New Zealand for the last sort of couple of months.
Yeah, I literally travelled the length and breadth of New Zealand.
Does the average Kiwi still think you're a fuckwit?
We had an event one night at a marae, and put your hands up if you've been involved in domestic violence. And lots of people put their hand up, and I put my hand up. And then I started thinking about it. So, oh, shit. I think that I'm beating girls up and shit. But it was like, I was getting beaten up.
A lot of people said to me, like, let's get you guys back together and doing some TV.
Mate, I'd love to, but I don't know what we'd do.
Yeah, I don't know what we'd do, but I'd like to do it, whatever it is.
Everyone stops me and goes, where'd you get that bag from? Where'd you get that bag from? And who would have thought I'd be running around with a flax bag on my back? But I love it. How I haven't lost anything? Nothing.
Hi there, I'm Rick Solizzo. Now, Sportscafe Media would like to present our new show, Legends, in conjunction with Sal's authentic New York pizza and a nice drop of Southern Alps lager. The show is going to be done here on Herbie, the 1971 Bedford bus, which is fueled here by Gold Petroleum. Right, that's all the important messages out of the way. Legends is about to start. And just to clarify, Rick Solizzo, Marc Ellis, not Legends. You stop, we'll start and then we'll go. Because, like, we haven't started yet. You've eaten all the Sal's pizzas already.
That's right. Well, so yeah, it's not.
Oh, you've got a sponsor, mate.
Yeah, and
you've got a sponsor.
Southern Alps Lager is our beer sponsor.
I've eaten all the Sal's pizza. There's 2 bits left of a supersizer. He's sitting here. I don't think you've left.
The seagulls.
You haven't left since the last time we filmed here 3 days ago. He just sat there eating pizza and living in my bus.
Oh, hey, mate, I should put my tooth in, eh?
Oh, but which one?
Come on.
Oh, too funny. Hey, look at this, boys. How about that for a bag, mate? I'll tell you what. I got this given to me when I was doing that tour of and I'm just going to put my basil in, bro. No shit. Like,
do you want to wipe
I know I'm getting
off
old.
your face?
I got pizza on my face, don't I?
No, I'll leave it on there.
Thanks, mate.
Right. Hey.
Mate.
Here's my little basil, see?
Fucking hell.
What's
Oh,
that?
mate, that's what happens when you get old, bro.
Yeah, but you've already put a new set in. What are they fucking crumbling after a while?
Oh, that's better. Look.
Oh, yeah. That's much better.
Much better. You look like a horse with a bridle in its mouth.
No. So what was I going to say?
So let me ask you a question.
They do start to crumble after a while, mate, especially when you're getting nudging 60.
No, what I was just going to say is, you know, when we had you on the Sports Cafe last year, a lot of people said to me, let's do a Marc and Matthew show. Like, let's get you guys back together and doing some TV. Is that the sort of, would you guys, I mean, I reckon it'd be a great show now because you're both so different.
Fuck, remember back in the day when we were competitive, right? And we said, how fucking funny would this be if we were 60 and we're still just as competitive, you know, broken down?
Yeah, but that's the thing, we are. And the funny thing is, to your point, I reckon it'd be really cool to do something like that now because we haven't changed too much. Like I was saying before, we're the same sort of people, but we've got a different viewpoint on life and how we interact with the world. I guess I'm speaking on behalf of Marc as well, but yeah, it's like when I saw you the other day, Marc. We had you invited me around for a coffee at your office, and you were there, Rick. And I was running about 2 or 3 minutes late, and you were at the end of the hallway in Ponsonby Central, and I was like, hey. And you saw me and you you just were like, yo, like that. And then I just, for whatever reason, mate, I just broke into a jog. like it was like Charlie's Angels. And I came up and, we just gave each other a big hug. Now, but we wouldn't have done that. Just the change in both of us, you're on the same path as I am. You're on the same path as I am. We all are. We all go on the same path that I'm going on. We all want connection. We all want to find love. We all want to do all that sort of shit. But our edges are a bit
softer.
Just been shaved off a little bit. Mine have. But I've still got the same.
Oh, you'd still be just as sharp and bristly if we're competing at anything.
And have a laugh and make people laugh and do good shit and have, like just be able to do the things that we would be able to do. And for whatever reason, mate, people used to just let us do that stuff. I don't know why. And it's everywhere I go now, like, and I'm on my own now, like if I go out on my own, or sometimes I take my wife or whatever, but I don't go out too much anymore. But I still walk into a place and the energy's there, and I know you're the same, Macca. It's like whatever we've got, it's like it's I don't know, but the whole place seems to resonate with it, right? So I always have a good time.
So let's do it, eh?
So yeah, to your point, mate, I'd love to, but I don't know what we'd do.
Yeah, I don't know what we'd do, but I'd like to do it, whatever it is.
Oh, bro, I'd be keen as mustard. And like,
it'd be fun, mate. Life is short, right? So
yeah,
if I got to spend a few weeks bloody having some fun with you and having yarns late into the night and bloody causing a bit of trouble and having a bloody good laugh, I think it would still have. I think people.
And here's the other thing, bro. Let's get on that.
And I would.
Let's get on that bus.
Yeah, bloody oath. She's a beauty.
Let's get on that bus. Like, that bus is so cool, bro. Like, just imagine, like, ripping up and down the country in that, or, you could get over here to Bali, or, like...
I just want to tell you a little bit about what we're doing with the bus. So Mark's, got this 1971 Bedford Herbie, and he's decided to be a generous man and give it to a family doing it tough. Just a normal family having a bit of a tough time, and so he's given it away every couple of weeks, and we've had a couple of families already.
So first stop, Woolworths. We've got to fill a fridge, fill the larder. Yeah, well, there you go. Good place at Woolworths. I've given us a trolley full. Herbie's going to be well stocked for these from the boys. Last job is to fill Herbie up. We're at Gull, and big thanks to them. They've been on board since day one. Now the great thing about Gull, download the app, pick it up. It couldn't be any more simple.
It's a lot larger than I expected.
G'day, Kelly. Good to see you, yeah. How's things? G'day, mate. How you going, mate? Mark. G'day, pal. How are you, pal? Yeah, jump on the side. There's a few toys there from that'll keep you guys.
Cool, guys. Wow.
Yeah, all filled up. It is pretty cool. Yeah, it is.
You're
So
having
Gull's
ball.
one of the.
Oh, look at it, guys. Nice. Wow. How awesome.
It's all for you guys.
And it's been amazing because it's just bringing a bit of sense of community, sense of helping your mates, sense of optimism back into the world that we've got,
Yeah, I mean, look, Reggie, I was driving back through the desert road, right? And Tommy was asleep in the back, and I was just going, really lucky, right? But there's lots of Kiwi families who are battling away, who haven't had a holiday with their kids, who would love to come. I love being on the bus. It's just chill, you can cook, have a shower, you're by the sea.
Yeah.
So we thought, why don't we let people nominate families who are doing it tough, and thus far we've had a couple through, and it's pretty cool. So if we can find a space where we've got some time, you and I can go on it for sure, but it's pretty popular at the moment.
Oh, bro, like, just from me to you, mate, like, I tip my hat. That's just such a beautiful thing to do, bro. And there's nothing better than a roadie. It's like that's what I've just finished doing, a roadie around the whole of the country. And we were super lucky, got a Range Rover and stuff. And then Dion's bought the Range Rover off the dealer, and it just everything fell into place, right? But like, to do a roadie and be able to sleep in your car or sleep in your bus. And I've only seen it on social media, Mackie, but it looks amazing. Like, what a trip! It's one of the rites of passage, isn't it? Like, do a roadie around your country. And I did it when I was 16, 17 with tennis, and we just were in a green Toyota, and we obviously stayed in motels. But to be able to like actually stay in the vehicle that you're in, it'd be just so cool, bro. So tip my hat, mate. Like, it's amazing, and hopefully you got plenty of sponsors and people getting behind it. But yeah, bro, if we can do something like that, that'd be super cool. But whatever, mate, I'm up for whatever. I think it'd be real neat.
All right, Rick, you're the producer, mate. You make something happen, and I'll definitely go on 3 weeks holiday with Reggie. Brilliant.
All right, mate.
Yeah, bro. Like, how good would it be? How good. And here's the thing, mate. And that you said it before, Mac. Life is so short. I know it's a cliche, but it is. You know, you're here 1 minute, gone the next, and you're just a speck of dust, and nobody's going to remember you. You know, like it doesn't matter what you achieve, where you go, whatever. It doesn't matter who you are, mate. In the blink of an eye, you're gone, and nobody cares.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So I think when you know, like if you go into life with that sort of attitude and just like try and stay present, then all your problems seem to dissipate. And, you know, like no one's going to remember, at least alone you, when you're in that box.
Nobody can make you happy but you.
You know, as long as you got food.
And
that's it, mate.
I've worked out he makes me happy as well. So if he and I can make each other happy, then I'll find some time for it, for sure.
Do I make you happy?
Not as much.
Oh, bro, like...
Can we find out from him what his path is? Well, what have you been doing? Like, you've been travelling up and down New Zealand for the last sort of couple of months.
Yeah, I literally travelled the length and breadth of New Zealand from the bottom of the Stewart Island all the way up to Cape Rang and then sort of back down to Christchurch, which was amazing. And I went with
does the average Kiwi still think you're a
friend of mine.
fuckwit?
Hey, let him talk.
What's that?
Does the average Kiwi
What
still
was that,
think
mate?
you're a fuckwit?
What'd you say?
I said, does the average Kiwi still think you're a fuckwit?
Oh no, bro. That's what was really interesting. Actually, they don't. But I had a really cool time. It was really cool. But I went with a guy called Dion Freeman, who's a Māori healer dude who I met in New Zealand years and years and years ago. And I was in the same spot, like I was in a difficult spot emotionally and stuff. And for whatever reason, I poured my heart out to him. And I don't remember the conversation. But I can remember leaving the place that I was at, which was a club and it was used to be Spy Bar, thinking to myself, oh my God, did I just pour my heart out to a dude I don't know, you know? And I was real anxious about it. And then I just resolved to put it to one side and not think about it again. And I didn't. Anyway, fast forward to France and I'm doing that podcast with my mate, David Bring. And he rings me and he goes, oh, bro, I've got a Māori healer coming on. And I said, oh, that'll be cool. And he goes, oh, he knows you. And I was like, what? Okay. Anyway, like, Dion rang me before the podcast, and he said, I looked at him. I said, oh, look, mate, sorry, I don't remember you. You must have met me because you say you have, but I don't remember meeting you. I had no idea. And he goes, oh, I was a barman at that bar, and I was like, yeah, and he goes, and I was looking at him, and he goes, yeah, I remember we had that big chat, and rah, rah, and I was like, nah, and then it just hit me, mate, and it wasn't the memories that came back, it was the feelings of shame that came back. I was like, oh that's
wow.
right. Because I was just going through that stuff with, I think I'd just broken up with Nikki. Remember when I came and stayed with you? That's how remember how busted I was? And I was like, oh,
what was the shame, Reggie?
You reached out and you said, mate, what?
What was the shame about?
Oh, the shame, just like, cause I just poured my heart out to a dude I didn't know. And like, I literally, like, I don't remember this, but apparently what happened was I went there because I used to frequent that bar all the time, Spy Bar. And I came down and I must have looked like thunder. And for whatever reason, I just picked Dion. He was a new guy and I just started yakking to him and I felt comfortable to talk to him. I don't know why, I just did. And they literally said, it was his first night working there. And they literally said to him, the manager said, hey, look, just take Reggie. We're going to call it off this little area. Just yak to him. And I don't remember any of that, right? I just must have been just... You know what I'm
Jesus.
like, mate.
Yeah,
and
he's yours tonight.
Yeah, then anyway, like he came on the podcast and he did a distant healing. He said to me, he said, oh, bro, like, I feel like I can feel, just on the phone, he goes, mate, I can feel like you're going through the same sort of stuff and I was like, what? How do you know that? And he said, look, can I do a distant healing on you and your wife? And I was like, what? Fuck, what the hell's that? Anyway, he did. And the stuff that he told me, only I knew, like I hadn't told anybody. And it was just so it was so bizarre. So I said to him, oh, hey, bro, if you ever come to France, come and stay with me, like it'd be really cool, just to hang out. And he said, oh, it just so happens I'm going to Spain to do I'm doing a healing retreat in Spain with some clients. So I'll come through on the way through. So he did. And he stayed for like 2-3 weeks. And then just the change in our family and the children, me, the work that he did with Chloe, we were going through some horrible, just real bad shit. And yeah, so that it was just amazing. He sort of knitted us back together. Like we still had shitloads of work to do, but we were. Oh, I was getting divorced. Like it was a nightmare. And stuck on the other side of the world. My wife didn't want to come home. She was like, "No, I'm staying here. You can bugger off." It was real bad. Um, and then he said he reached out to me and he goes, "Hey, bro, you need to reconnect with New Zealand." I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Mate, you need to come back here and just reconnect. Like you need to get your feet on the ground here for a bit." And I said, "Okay, cool." He rang me and he goes, "Look, I've got it sorted out. We've got 2.5 months. I've got a sponsor. I've got a car sponsor and I've got accommodation sponsor and Scenic and let's go." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So, and we just documented it and just sort of just talking about, our travels, my journey, my life. It was, and then just intertwining that with Māoridom, New Zealanders, how we live, how we eat, just how we interact. Mate, it was incredible. Like staying on my eyes, all walks of life.
Just for the
And
uninitiated,
I'm not a big.
just for the uninitiated, you're not Maori, you're Turkish.
Armenian.
Yeah, no, I'm not Turkish, bro. I'm Armenian. But you prick.
How long have you known him? He's not Turkish.
But
Good enough to
anyway,
know
so
he'd bite
here's
if I called him
here's
a
the
Turk.
thing, bro. It was so like was humbling, man. And like I don't like public speaking, but he just made me. He made me. He said, "Bro, you need to start telling your story. You need to speak to people." So I'd have to speak to like, we had an event one night at a marae, and he said, "Oh, there's going to be about 10, 12 people turn up and da da da." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." Anyway, like it's about 150 people turned up. I'm like, "What?" And they're all like, they're like staunch, like hardcore Māori dudes, young guys, like then they're all coming. And then the guy, one of the big chiefs, stood up and sort of put it on me, and I was like, "Oh wow!" But I got in there and I started yakking, and it just all came out of me, like. Stuff like domestic violence and stuff like that. And I was like, "Oh, that's right," because Dylan asked the question. He goes, "Put your hands up if you've been involved in domestic violence." And lots of people put their hand up, and I put my hand up. And then I started thinking about it. So, oh, shit. I think that I'm beating girls up and shit. But it was like, I was getting beaten up. So I jumped up and I said, "Hey, just before we start, I was getting beaten up. And that's domestic violence. Any guy that hits a woman's not a man. If you raise a hand to a woman, mate, you're a bitch. That's it." Like, and so that's what I told these all these dudes. I said, "Hey guys, look, I'm sorry." I jumped up. I said, "Hey, I've just got to clarify something. I put my hand up, but I was getting flogged. And ladies, it's no good that you can hit us because you can't, because that's domestic violence too. But any guy that hits a man is a bitch."
I had a colleague who was a big bugger. He's about your size, 120. And
Who?
a colleague. I don't want to mention names,
Oh, yeah.
but he's a big guy, 120 kilos. And his wife wasn't, but she was quite vicious. And she used to chase him, and he'd have to lock himself in the bathroom. And I mean, we sort of chuckle about that.
No, we don't.
But you can't chuckle about it. It's actually really bloody awful.
Bro.
And of course, men never report that because they feel emasculated. But
It's not a go, bro.
Yeah.
It's not a go, and this is what I was saying. And there were quite a few women in the marae as well, and they were like really listening intently. And I said, "Hey, listen, ladies, I don't know how we got on this topic, but I said, you know how you have that amazing ability to push buttons, right? And you push our buttons, and you wonder why some guys snap and react the way they do, right? So, you've got to take. There's no excuse, absolutely no excuse for raising a hand to a woman, to being verbally abusive, all that. You just have to take a deep breath and take yourself away from the situation. That's what you do." And one of these dudes was so beautiful. He was a massive dude. And he goes, "But how do you control your anger, Matthew? Like when they get you to a point," and I was like, "Oh, wow." Like, because I've been in that situation, like where they push you and push you and push you. It's like they want you to snap. The worst I've ever been is like, like I just lose, I get vocal, right? And that's abuse as well. But so now I've got to the point now where I can just, like, if things are going wrong, I can see it, and I just take myself away, and I just deep breathe. And I know it sounds really, "Oh, what do you mean you deep breathe?" And I say, "Hey, I just got to go for a bit," and I just leave. And then I come back and I'll have a think about it, and I come back and I say, "Hey, look, I'm really sorry for anything that I've done that's made you react like this. I truly apologise, but we can't be behaving like this in front of our children, in front of other people, because, like, it's just not cool. And unless we talk about these things, then, that stuff will just keep promoting, like just spreading through our society, and it's everywhere, mate.
Well, it's the only thing
It's
that'll.
everywhere. It's in every walk of life. It's not lower class. It's not. I won't say. It's not. From. Like, it's not middle. It's not. It's not people that are struggling financially. It pervades all our society. All of us.
Where does it stem
right?
from?
It's
Right?
everywhere.
And it stems from the only thing that's going to screw any of us, male or female, is ego.
Ego,
right?
yeah.
And it's your ego coming up against somebody else, and you're not wanting to give in, which is pretty bloody puerile if you skinny it back.
Yeah.
And every time you've had that argument, when they go from a jab to insulting stuff, which is quite hurtful because they know where to push.
Yes.
And I always say,
Yes.
just be careful. Just take a deep breath before you start saying things that you can't unwind or unsay.
Yeah.
But it's all ego driven, right? So that in the world today is based on ego. I mean, ego's aspirational, ego's inspirational.
So question for you, Reggie, based on what Mac is saying, what have you learned about your ego on this journey?
Well, like I was, it's funny. Like I've been going through this stuff since like early 30s. Like when Macca invited me to stay at his place, because he could see I was busted. And the thing I was really busted about was the shame. Like and that all related back to ego, right? So, your egos. You need ego because it kind of gives you
There's good and bad ego. There's, but the super ego.
Yeah, there's but you've got to have it in control because it gives you desire. It makes you want to I want to do this. I want to get to that. I want to be the best. I want to be the best of that, right? But it's not who you are, right? So, and I think when you get hurt and when things hurt you and stuff, that's also a part of your ego, right? So people don't deliberately go out to hurt you. They're just injured as well. Like they're just emotionally broken as well. When people are saying nasty things, it's just a reflection of what's going on inside of them. So when you have the ability to stand back and go, okay, let's just really feel how that person's feeling, like emotionally, like there must be a shitload going on with them for them to be reacting this way to try and provoke me. So, and when I get like that so I'm becoming conscious of what's happening around me. And most of the time we react to things and do things that we don't say or mean because we're acting unconsciously. And when you actively bring consciousness to the situation and you step outside yourself and you think, okay, this is how I'm going to behave, then things start to change. Now, it takes a long, I'm so far away from being a conscious individual, but I catch myself all the time doing things and I'm like, oh, hang on a second. And when I catch myself doing those things, that's my conscious self coming in. So that stuff is just, I'm just changing every day,
So you sort of sit back and observe it,
changing every day.
Observe it from a third party perspective, observe the behaviour that's occurring from a third party.
This is what I say. I say, I say to people, Mac, when people talk to me about this, I say, just imagine, you imagine yourself in a situation or when you're in a situation and you step outside yourself and then think, hey, would I be proud of myself if people could see me the way I'm behaving? Is that something that I want to portray? Is that who I am as a person? And when you do that, then you go, oh, shit, no, like that's not cool. So, I always just look at it like someone's looking, like everybody's looking. And that's how you got to behave. And it doesn't mean you got to be a pussy or whatever. You can still say what you think, but you just say it in a way, in a calm. You can.
Well, you have to say what you think. You can't.
Yeah, you can get your point across. You can
truth,
get your point across, but you've got to get your point across in a way that allows you understand that other people, you see their perspective, and you let them have their perspective, and you understand their perspective, and then you get your point across. But you don't have to win. It doesn't matter. Like you just say what you want to say, and if it doesn't land cool, then and that's how I've managed to turn my life around, going from instead of being. Not that I had a stink life, I had a great life, but I've still got a great life.
But you wanted to win all the time, Reggie, at everything.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. And, you put up a, we all have a cloak and, you put up this cloak, but it gets real pain in the ass carrying this cloak around, man. This set of armor, that you think, I used to say to you, Mac, remember, I don't give a fuck about what people think of me.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yes. Right? And you'd be like, I do. And I'd be like, oh. But it's kind of important to not worry about what people think about you, but you've also got to be a good person while you're at it and not be a dickhead.
Yeah.
You know, and so like I carried that. My grandmother used to tell me that, but it just needed to have a few other bits and pieces with it as well. It's like, hey, but like, don't let that stop you. Don't let what she was saying is, don't let other people stop you from achieving what you want to achieve. But I was like, I don't give a fuck.
Can,
It's
can
funny,
I,
man.
can I ask you? Can I ask you both
I
this?
took it to
Can
the
I,
next level.
can I ask you both this question? So everything you're saying resonates, but you're both incredibly successful because of who you are and the way you tick. So by changing your mindsets, by
Yeah.
acknowledging ego, by understanding
Yeah.
that your impact on other people, can you still be you? Can you still be Mark Ellis, Matthew Ridge?
Yeah, well, I think without
Well,
ego,
bro,
you've got more of a chance of being you. You know, ego's just a sort of, as you were saying, a guise. You know, it's a protective mechanism that stops you from being hurt. If you're you and you're truthful to yourself, then you're vulnerable. That's what this guy's doing. That's the journey he's been on, his vulnerability, and that's what I love about you. Is you don't care what people think to the extent where you're happy to be. You know, this is me, warts and all. You know, and
yeah,
I don't care either what people think as long as I'm tidy in myself, right? So I got brought up on
yeah,
see yourself as others see you, you know. So in other
yeah,
words, have empathy, look through other people's eyes and view yourself, which is what you're effectively saying. So
yeah.
I think that the truth, you know, truth will set you free. Just be no dicks policy, give more than you get, you know. Pretty simple rules
Yeah.
in the world. Have a good work ethic, be kind,
Yeah, bro.
chase love.
Like Macca and I have still got that cheeky, smart ass, gregarious, love life. That's that side of us, which is what made us popular, I guess, because we literally took the piss out of each other because we were having fun, right? So we didn't take ourselves too seriously, and I think that's the most important thing, to be able to laugh at yourself and laugh really loud at yourself and that's what we were really good at. Like, Macca would take the mick out of me and he'd be laughing, and like, sure, I was a little bit like, but I'd be laughing too because it's funny. And if you can't laugh at yourself, like, you're toast. So that's the thing that you'll never lose. Like, I love taking the mick out of people and, like having a bit of a laugh and all that sort of stuff. But I realize now, like, there's some people you just can't. And you have to read the room, right? But with my mates and with, like guys that I've known forever, that doesn't change. But there's also, there's another side to you that they probably haven't seen before. You've got to, like, I let that softer side out all the time, but I don't think people thought I had a soft side. I think everyone thought I was just this hard ass, real edgy, say what I think. And I did. But, deep down and underneath all that was, like a really sensitive, kind, caring person, right? But, you get portrayed in a certain way. And here's the thing, guys, like, I'll just jump to where I am now, like in Bali. Like, I managed to get our family down here because I was super unhappy in France. While I love France, it just didn't resonate with me. The people didn't resonate. They are quite. I know I can't put them all in one basket, but they're a difficult mob. The French, there's no doubt about it. They're not very friendly, and I found it pretty difficult. And I was pretty isolated. But coming here, and I've been here many times, but living here is completely different because normally, I used to come here and I'd just trash myself and drink and party, and like, you don't really get to see the place. You go to the beaches, you're half cooked, so it was cool, but I didn't really get to feel the heart of it. But honestly, this place, if you can't be happy coming to a place like Bali, you'll still bring your problems and all that stuff. But it is amazing. And what the beautiful thing is the people, mate. They are just, you walk out, and even if you're in a bit of a, like you're thinking about it, you're in your head, and we're all in our heads, and we've got to get out of our heads. That's half our problems. And, like when you're thinking about the past or the future, whatever, you walk out of here, and then you see the poverty, but they don't care, mate. They are smiley, they're happy. Hello, sir, how are you? And it's uplifting. And, I just feel blessed. And here's the other thing, boys. Here's the other thing. Like, your Bali's cheap and all that stuff. But the West have got it wrong, mate. How can we be? I was watching this thing on Tucker Carlson the other night. I don't watch him, but he was in Russia. and they were doing his film crew. I don't know what they were doing there, but his film crew were walking through a supermarket, and they were just loading up their trolley, right, with just stuff that they needed for the week, and they didn't look at prices or anything like that, and they were like, okay, what do you reckon it's going to be? And most of them said between $400 and $500 US for the trolley, and it came out at $110, and they were like, what? Like, so in America, how is it that we're getting like the biggest country in the world who, like, we all look to and go, oh, that's amazing that people can't feed themselves, right? And it's almost like New Zealand's the same. New Zealand's so expensive. Like I do okay, guys. I'm not loaded, but I'm okay. But I'm almost like now, it's like, man, can I really afford to live in New Zealand and live the life that I want to lead? And if I ask myself that question honestly, I go, well, hang on, here, I go out every night for dinner. I go to a different restaurant. And this is no joke, guys. There's a steak emporium up here run by an Aussie guy. And you pick your steaks, there's fillet steak, whatever steak you want. And, then you Greek salad or blah, blah, blah. And it's always packed. To feed me and my wife and 2 children, and they eat, they have steaks and sausages and stuff, it's 80 New Zealand dollars. Mate, like the whole family, bro. And that's expensive. Right? So if I want to go to a warung, which is just down the road, and people go, oh, yeah, but it's all rubbish. It's not, mate. The food is beautiful. And like you can get a pad thai with prawns and stuff. Mate, it costs you $7.50. And it's huge. You could look like if you're a tight, you could get 2 of them, and that'd feed all 4 of you. Wow! And by the time you get,
but if you look
at hold on, Macca, you whispered in my ear, I've got an admission to make.
Oh, we're talking about French people, and I haven't told anyone this, but
it always scares me because you've told us a lot.
Rugby World Cup final in 2011. I was there with a corporate.
No, you've told me this.
Oh, yeah. And after the game, I'm going for a pee. Right, and it's all lined up, and the urinals are there, and then a door swings open beside me, so I nip in there, and I'm having a piddle, and this French guy taps me on the shoulder and says, "I've been wetting a whale." And I said, "Mate, I've already got my dork out and they make a piss." I said, "Well, fucking wait a bit longer, pal." And he booted me in the back, like kicked me in the back, right into the wall.
Yeah,
and so I finished, and I went, "No, that's fucking wrong," And he was a bit bigger than me, so I said to a couple of Maori boys, "Like, you have my back here." And I waited for him to come out and fucking wham, smacked him right on the snout. Didn't do as good a job as I'd hoped. Then he ended up trying to eye gouge and rip my inside. Took him to the ground, and the Maori boys sorted him out. But that's a bit of a run-in with a Frenchman, But they lost that game by a couple of points in the last minute, so I can see he was somewhat frustrated. But that's the only fight I've ever been in.
Yeah, no, it's funny you say that. Like,
but you can't kick a man in the back. That's my, that was like.
But bro, it's like. I really used to try and engage, and they all speak English, and they try and stuff, but, especially in the South, they all speak English, right? But it's not a friendly place, and it felt like it was just this competition all the time, especially when you go to the gym, I'd go to the gym for ages, and who I got really friendly with at the gym? Were all the cleaners and the people that, like, do the, like, jobs that nobody wants to do, right? And they're all African or... and the French, like, I'm just going to say it how it is. They look down on those people. And, like, they were the people that I was like, you know what? It's like back in New Zealand, when I'd go to a pub or a club or whatever, I always, like, hang out with the barman or the bar staff or whatever, because they're the people that are, like, they're just down and dirty with you. Like, they're the heart and soul of the place, right? So I knew all the cleaners by name. And, I'd come in and they'd smile and I'd try and talk French to them. And you could tell that they really appreciated it. But everybody else, no one else. And I know this because I'd watch, like I just make it my job to watch because I couldn't talk. So I just watch everything, And nobody, the way they would treat those people was just like dismissive. Not even a thank you for the towel or for wiping. I'd just be like, wow, you guys are so friggin' rude. And
that French coastline where it turns into the Italian, there's no actual delineation of when you cross the border. But as you're driving, you just go, oh, fuck, I'm pretty chill at the moment. It must be in Italy.
Yeah.
Because the Italians, on the other hand, are the most welcoming, beautiful people.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, they are, bro.
But you come across that border, and whilst there's no checkpoint, when you're in France.
All right, let's just stop bagging on the French for a bit.
Mate, but do you remember when we went to India?
Yeah.
And this is my point, is like you don't need to have a lot to like to enjoy life and to be, like to be in the present and living in the moment and just not worrying about the past or the future or how things are going to be. And those kids that used to come out and they'd be covered in crap and they'd, bare feet and flies all over them and shit. They'd come out and they'd just big smiles, right?
Yeah.
And they'd look at you, their eyes were just in wonder, like, wow. And I was like, that really hit me hard, that trip. I was like, man, what the hell have I got to worry about? Like I've got a nice house, I've got a nice car, I've got all the things that you're supposed to have, but it's not making me happy. And here's the thing, like I run around with this bag that this beautiful lady, a friend of Dion's, it's like bro, and everybody, if you could make these and spit them out at 100 miles an hour, like she's made it by hand, you'd be a multi-millionaire because everyone stops me and goes, where'd you get that bag from? Where'd you get that bag from? And who would have thought I'd be running around with a flax bag on my back? But I love it. How I haven't lost anything? Nothing.
Mate, I got a funny story about a mate in India because I always thought when I first met you were Indian. But he went to India and he's an Indian guy, right? And he's pretty streetwise. Well, you could get away with it, couldn't you? I mean, you could cover tick a few boxes, really. But anyhow,
Oh, you mean Gandhi?
he goes to India and he hires a Mercedes, right? And so it's got mag wheels. He's driving down the road in the middle of fuck knows where, and one of the wheels pops, like gone, and he pulls into this like tiny wee sort of house and says to the guy, mate, you wouldn't happen to? Oh, well, as a matter of fact, I can't do the accent. That's racist these days. As a matter of fact, that I do. That doesn't sound right. That is it. Matter of fact, that I do.
No, but hang on, can we just stop you there? Carry on.
Anyhow, he said, yeah, matter of fact, I do. And he comes back. He said, just give me half an hour. Came back half an hour later. Fuck me. The exact correct mag, perfect tyre blown up, jumps in the car, drives off. About 10 minutes later, it's sort of pulling quite hard to the left. And this cheeky bastard had taken the left wheel off and put it on the right and stuck a wheelbarrow wheel on the left. And so he drove back, laughing to himself and pulled up to the guy and said, mate, where's my fucking wheel? He said, I've never seen you before in my life. And he said it was so good that he just had to drive off. He just had to go, oh, fucking brilliant.
Yeah. Can I just say, you know how you said we're not allowed to do that? Oh my God. Right? You can't do that. But why not? Why the fuck not?
It's actually done. It's done in a beautiful way. It's a delightful accent.
It's not being racist. It's like, that's what you sound like. It's like, well, if you can do our accent, I'm not going to be offended by that at all.
No, it wasn't.
I actually think it's cool. Oh, good day, mate. How are you going?
It would have added to my fucking joke quite a bit, you. Why just sent to me? It would have added a lot to my joke.
No, I was just saying you were really bad on accents.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Reggie, before we...
No, but but that's... So we've got to the point where everything is so PC that everybody's too scared to take a pee. You're too scared to say what you think.
Yeah.
You're too scared to say a joke because it's going to be funny, and the guy and everyone's going to laugh. But you're like, oh, can I say that? I'm like, what? Why has the world become like this? It's a joke.
Hey, mate, the other thing too, just one bit of advice. One bit of advice is, not if, but when you get in trouble with the police, the Balinese police don't swim well. So I'd go to sea.
Oh, no. Hey, bro, like, stupid old me. I was going to get my visa, just the last story, and I was whipping along on my motorbike with my wife on the back, and the kids are at school. And I was like, oh, shit, I should have my helmet on. And sure enough, mate, I was late to get this visa, and I want to get it so I can get over to Aussie to do a reunion for the 96 team that won the premiership. Anyway, long story. And the guy was like, get over here. I was like, oh, bugger, mate. And I went, and do you know what? I just humbled myself. Whereas in the past, I would have been like, and straight away they went for the money situation. I just went, and I had the cash. I was like, I'm not paying 200. It was only $25, 250,000. I was like, no, I'm not paying. It's the principle. So I just pleaded with him. I was like, oh, bro, I'm so sorry, sir. And then I pulled out photos of my kids. And then he goes, he looked at me and he'd had enough. He goes, Just wear a helmet next time and bring your license. Goodbye. I was like, yes. But yeah.
Well, no, if you get in serious shit, go for the ocean, mate. Swim.
All right, Reggie. Thanks, brother.
See you, pal.
Yeah. I love you guys, mate. Nice to talk to you, man. All the best.
See you, boy.
See you, mate.
Catch you soon.